The Denver Nuggets are going to be my pick to come out of the Western Conference this year as the #1 overall seed in the playoffs. And let me tell you why. Because they have an insane amount of talent, yet no one is talking about them. The reigning two-time MVP, they have Jamal Murray coming back, a guy that looked like an MVP candidate in the bubble, and then Michael Porter Jr., who was insanely efficient, averaging about 20 a game last time we saw him healthy. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bruce Brown coming over in the offseason are both very nice additions to this squad. Mike Malone's going to have them ready to play every night. I think this is going to be a very, very good team. So make sure you hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and stick around for the full video because we got a lot to talk about today. First off, the trio is back. And last time we saw these three together, Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., and Jamal Murray, they went to the Western Conference Finals in a year that they really weren't supposed to. They were there a couple of years early. Of course, then Jamal Murray tears his ACL, so they get knocked off track a little bit. But yeah, the Joker, he hasn't played in the preseason yet, so we can't really talk about his preseason stats, but we know how crazy he is. One of the best players in the NBA, if not the best. Michael Porter Jr., in 2021, he put up 19.3 points a game, 7.3 rebounds on 54% shooting. That included 45% from three, which was crazy. Last year, he only played in 9 games, where he averaged a very inefficient 10 points per game and 6.6 rebounds. And that was partially due to his back injury, which then held him out for the remainder of the season. But this year in the preseason, he's averaging 13 points, 4 boards, and 1 steal per game while shooting at 46% from the field, 50% from 3 in 19 minutes a game. I know it's the preseason, but that is very, 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 very promising for Michael Porter Jr. to be able to stay healthy. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is how good bubble Jamal Murray was. 27 points a game, 6.6 rebounds, 4.8 assists per game in that playoff run. That is just different. I mean, you don't see that every day. Shot at 50% from the field, 45% from 3 in that Western Conference Finals, and people are acting like he's some scrub that's just now coming back to the Nuggets. He's looked pretty good so far in the preseason, 6 points per game, 3.5 boards, only 36% from the field, but 67% from 3 in 13 minutes per game. Of course, he's not going to be playing very much because, he's coming back from an ACL tear, but a stud that is going to be on the loose this year, and that is Bones Highland. He has been flame-throwing so far in the preseason, and he's going to be their backup point guard from day one this year. Ish Smith has looked good in the preseason, but that is nothing compared to what Bones Highland is about to do. With Monte Morris out the door, the door is wide open for Bones to become that backup point guard. I think he's going to be the sixth man for this team and really be that spark plug off the bench that goes in and gets buckets. Really the sixth man where he just comes in, microwave score off the bench. I think that's going to be his role next year for the Nuggets, and I think he's going to excel at that. Now the role guys that we do have to talk about, because they have a lot of them and they play their role very well. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, the first guy we'll talk about here, coming in via trade, the first true 3-and-D wing that Jokic is going to have, or 3-and-D shooting guard. Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, we saw them do their role last year, and then Bruce Brown provides much, much needed depth to the bench. Aaron Gordon starting with 15 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 2.5 assists a game last year in what was a big year for him not off the bench, but as a starter, because he got to play kind of that number 2 role to Nikola Jokic, 52% from the field and 34% from 3. But with those guys injured, he really stepped up. This year in the preseason, he's averaging 12 points per game, 4.2 rebounds in 17 minutes of action. So he's looking good. He's looking like he's going to have a big year. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, like I said, the perfect 3-and-D guard to pair with Nikola Jokic. Last year averaged 13.5 points a game, 4 boards, and 2 assists in what was a pretty efficient season, shooting at 44% from the field, 40% from 3. That's what you like to see around Jokic because he can really pass it. And then 1.1 steals per game. Of course, they did send out Monte Morris and Will Barton in order to bring him in, but I think it's going to be a pretty good investment. 6.7 points per game in the preseason so far in 16 minutes of action a night. Now, Uncle Jeff Green is still getting up there in age, but he's still doing his thing. Last year, averaged 10.3 points per game, 3.1 rebounds, on 52% shooting from the field off the bench for this Nuggets team, where he played, like I said, a big role on a playoff team. His role will decrease a little bit, kind of like everybody else's this year, with the studs coming back, but 9 points a game on 50% shooting in the preseason is a good sign so far. And then Bruce Brown is a guy that looks like a very solid depth addition for this team as the backup two guard. 9 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2.1 assists last year for that Brooklyn Nets squad that was kind of favored to win the NBA championship at the beginning of the year. Things kind of fell apart, but Bruce Brown was good. 8 points a game this year in the preseason on 45% shooting from both the field and three. And no, he's not just taking all threes. He's going to be a good addition and a good backup for this Nuggets squad. Him and Bones Highland off the bench, man, that is tough. Now, a couple of guys I expect to have a breakout. Zeke Naji is one of them, 7 points a game, 4 rebounds, 51% from the field, 46% from three in limited minutes last year. Part of the reason they were so comfortable letting DeMarcus Cousins go. So far in the preseason this year, he's putting up 11 points per game, 55% shooting from the field, 33% from three in limited minutes again, because of course he is a starter. Devon Reed, 4.5 points a game, 50% shooting, 43% from three last year in 14 minutes a game this year in the preseason. He's putting up numbers of 6 points per game on 40% shooting from the field, 45% from three. Both of these guys I expect to have a very, very upgraded role in this lineup, and I think they're going to excel. The rookies this year, Christian Braun, Ismael Kamagate, and Peyton Watson, they're all kind of going to be vying for one roster spot. If I had to make a pick as to who would get it, it would be Christian Braun because of how well he can shoot it. You know, sneaky athletic. And, you know, you're talking about a white guy when you say sneaky athletic. But sneaky athletic he is. A very good shooter out of Kansas, just won a national championship, so he's used to winning. Peyton Watson, very athletic, kind of got lost in the shuffle there at UCLA because they were trying to win a national championship. He didn't really click from day one, but still good enough to get drafted in the first round. And then Kamagate, a guy that's got all kinds of potential out of France. Now, can they be NBA champions? I believe so. If the words are hard. If the cookies crumble the right way, and Nikola Jokic goes off, wins another MVP, Jamal Murray, you know, he's back to bubble Murray form, and then Michael Porter Jr. is giving him a very efficient 20-piece, I think that they are good enough to make it back to the NBA championship and win it. However, do I think they beat the Warriors? Probably not. Like I said, if the cookies don't crumble their way, I think that the Warriors are going to beat them as good and as deep as they are. I mean, the Warriors, they have an all-star team, and they've just paid them all somehow. I don't know how in the world that's legal. The luxury tax is really going to be tough for the Warriors next year, but they brought everybody back, so we'll see how that works out. But the Nuggets, as for them, I think they'll be the number 1 seed in the West next year. I think, you know, they'll make it to the Western Conference Finals again, but I think that's as far as they make it. A lot of depth, as we've talked about all throughout this video. But yeah, y'all let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do the Nuggets have what it takes to make it to the NBA Finals and win it? I think so. I just don't think it's going to happen that way. But yeah, with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like button and leave me a comment down below. And come back later for more NBA content. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.